What's up guys, welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks, and today we are doing our weekly budget build on Djeru and Hazoret. Now, if you've noticed like me, there's been a ton, and I mean a ton, of equipment commanders Wizards has released over the course of a couple years. Now, all of these are budget, and this is going to be the perfect route to take. This is going to be an equipment commander tribal deck. Yes, so we're going to throw all the commanders in there that care about equipment, and then we're going to use Djeru and Hazoret to look at the top 6 cards of our library and throw onto the battlefield the ones that give us the most value. Now, I playtested this deck a couple times, and honestly guys, it doesn't feel like we're playing in boros. We're searching the 6 cards of our library, we're getting cards onto the battlefield that generate value, and then honestly we're drawing a lot of cards while smacking our opponent's face with a bunch of equipped creatures. So if that sounds like a deck tech you're into, let's get into it. Let's kick it off with the legendaries, guys. This is almost a third of our deck at 27 cards. We have Saram, Senior Artificer. This is going to draw us a ton of cards when we're casting those equipment spells. Jorkadeen, Akiri, and Wylith. We have solid card advantage in Boros. Who would have thought, guys? Additionally, Akiri can make one of our creatures indestructible, which is super solid for protecting our board. Sophina, another card that's actually going to give us some card advantage, right? We're going to investigate, we're going to create those clue tokens, and sacrifice them to draw a lot of cards. Aster, Bearer of Blades, another solid way to dig deep for some important equipment cards, while also reducing the equip cost of our equipment. Kimba, Ka Regent, and Valduk can be solid creatures to just Voltron up, get a ton of equipment attached to them, and then we get an instant board state. Krinko 10 Street Kingpin, another card that can get us an instant board state. You know, we can equip this guy to the moon, he's legendary, fits perfectly in the deck. Vikya, not only can this girl make herself bigger, but can be solid removal and card replacement at the same time. Reyev Master Smith, now all of our equipped creatures are just going to have double strike, that's going to be super useful. Brunor, this guy's just going to buff our equipped creatures to the moon while reducing that equip cost. Arden can be super solid for getting past that equip cost as well. Kadric can be really good because now we're just doubling up on those legendary creatures, giving us a solid turn to just hit face with no repercussions. Audric can not only screw our opponents over because we can make them block with their valuable creatures, but it can also essentially make our board unblockable at the same time. Tashar, we're casting a lot of, historic spells, and we have a lot of 3-drop creatures that are pretty important to the strategy. Baloth. I like this guy because 1, we're goading creatures, we're creating treasure tokens, and honestly, bringing a little chaos to an equipment deck. Gerard, Weatherlight Hero, this guy's going to be super solid board wipe protection. Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs, this will make it to where we can full out swing, and then when our opponents try to crack back, we're going to have something to protect us. Oscar, the Reconstructor. This guy's super solid, like late game, they wipe our board where we don't have any equipment. We play this guy, we can get more equipment cards out, we can get more ramp out. He's just going to be super solid in the deck. Athari Sun's Glory, another card that we'd really want to equip to the moon and create a massive board state. Zirium, Golden Wing, just a really solid card to create a board state. Jazal, Goldmane, this guy can be a game ender, right? If we get enough creatures on the battlefield with Goldwing, we can use Jazal to just go ahead and buff everything up and take people out. Adriana, another card that we can use to buff everybody out. Melee is a better ability than people think, especially if you have 3 opponents, right? That's going to give all of your creatures +3/+3 as long as you're attacking all of your opponents, and it's going to be pretty useful because now everybody has melee. Mangara is solid removal. Atali, Primal Storm, super budget bomb, right? He is one of the bombs we included along with Aurelia the War Leader. Now we have double combat steps, which will be really good with our commander, getting 2 triggers off of our commander and digging 12 cards deep to put 2 legendaries onto the battlefield. It's going to be pretty broken. Moving on to the equipment of the deck, we have our value equipment with Explorer Scope and Staff of Titania. Solid ramp cards in the equipment slot, synergizes with the deck. Rogue's Glove, Mask of Memory, and Glimmer Lens are going to be solid card advantage in the deck, while again also being equipment. Citizen's Crowbar can be used in a pinch as removal. Sunforger can literally search up all of the removal in our deck, minus the board wipes. Moving on to the aggro equipment, we have Hexplate Wallbreaker. This is going to be super solid with our commander, right? Because again, 2 triggers off of our commander is going to be insane. Swiftfoot Boots can be used just to protect any of our key pieces. Bladehold War Whip. Brass Knuckles and Lizard Blades are going to be super solid for giving our creatures double strike. I like Brass Knuckles here because we're even going to get 2 copies of it. And Bladehold War Whip is going to reduce the equipment cost of all of our equipment, so that's super solid. Black Blade Reforged is going to be super solid in this deck as well, since most of them are legendary. Blood Forged Battle Axe is also going to be really good with the amount of cards that reduce the equip cost or just get rid of it altogether. Additionally, there's a lot of cards in our deck that care about how many creatures we have equipped at any given moment, so this can really make sure that we have every one of our creatures equipped. Chariot of Victory, this is just keyword soup. We get haste, trample, and first strike off of this. Really solid. Luxodon Warhammer, we're going to get trample, lifelink, and +3. This is going to be really good in any equipment deck, honestly. Sword of Vengeance, super solid. Again, keyword soup with the first strike, vigilance, and trample. Also haste. Tenza Godo's Maul, a lot of our creatures are legendary and also red, so this is going to give trample and +3/+3, which can be insane. Dragon Throne of Tarkir can straight up end games, equip this to our biggest creature, go ahead and tap that creature down, and now our whole board is massive. Also do run some card advantage cards like Wheel of Misfortune. This is going to be super solid just to get a full hand out of nowhere. Showdown of the Scalds, also a super solid card. Exiling the top 4 of your library can be really impactful, especially since a lot of the cards we run in this deck are very low CMC. I mean, this is still a boros deck, so I was thinking about that when I was building it. Additionally, the +1/+1 counters are honestly just icing on the cake, but on its face, this is just a really budget card that digs you 4 cards deep. In boros, I like it. Moving on to ramp, we have a super simple ramp package. We're going to run Arcane Signet, Boros Signet. Obviously, we got to put Soul Ring in here. Marble Diamond and Fire Diamond are super cheap. Just 2-turn ramp, which is exactly what we want. Wayfarer's Bauble, again, another super budget. Turn 2 ramp option. Relic of the Legends, I like this because now we're tapping our creatures for, mana in Boros. That kind of seems insane to me. Additionally, it is also a mana rock, right? Lastly, we have Forging the Tyrant Sword. I like this card. It's going to net you 2 treasure tokens and just tutor up any equipment. Gotta love it. Moving on to removal, we have Generous Gift and Chaos Warp. Super solid cards that can get rid of any impermanent on the field and get rid of any problem, right? Next, we have Disenchant, a super solid card for those artifacts and enchantments. Swords to Plowshare, super efficient removal card. And Boros Charm. I really like Boros Charm. It's super flexible here, right? We can get rid of any, 4/4 creatures, permanents you control gain indestructible, and it can give one of your creatures double strike if we're staring down lethal at one of our opponents. Remember, our commander is not small. This is an equipment deck, and honestly, one of the win cons is equip up the commander and go for face, right? Urza's Ruinous Blast, a super solid card. We have a lot of legendaries in the deck, right? 27, and that's not including any legendary artifacts we have, which we do have a few. So this is going to miss all of those, miss all of our commander creatures, and it's going to hose our opponents over. Onto Inversion, super solid budget, mass removal on a land. I love it. And guys, that's going to do it for the deck tech. So I'd really like to know in the comment section what you guys think about this. It's a Boros commander, right? And we're doing equipment. Kind of boring, but I think it's kind of fun because we literally did create a legendary Boros equipment tribal deck. I like it. What can I say? Let me know in the comment section below if you really jive with it or it's honestly not your cup of tea. And as always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors.